hey, a power shortage. We've been talking about this. Existing power plants are projected to retire at a faster pace than installations of new units. This is from the Epoch Times. Dependence on renewable projects are threatening widespread power shortages, according to a new report by the regional power transmission company, PJM. They're going to be really, really short on power soon. And we kind of told you why that was happening. I think, broke some news. I don't know of anybody else that has reported on this, but, you know, there's got to be somebody out there that found this besides us. But the Inflation Reduction Act is nothing but a Trojan horse, and that is closing down our power plants. These companies are given billions of dollars, your money, billions of dollars, to shut down the operating coal-fired plants and then build something else. But what makes this really, really insidious is to get all of the money, you have to destroy or dismantle your power plant. So power plants are going up for sale, and some of them are selling dirt cheap. These things take years to build, if not a decade, and they cost billions of dollars. And they're being sold for scrap metal. That's good, huh? Isn't that good? Yeah. And so I told you there is a way that you can help. It is in the form of a bill that was just passed in Utah. They're working on a similar one in West Virginia. I urge you to read all about it. Watch the TV show from last night, my Wednesday night special on Blaze TV, or listen to the first hour of today's podcast because I outline exactly what is going on. And this is a big one. There's lots of things we can pay attention to. This one literally is lights out if we don't act on this. In the bill, you will see that they don't just want to encourage new energy. They are blocking the path by destroying our power plants. No one in their right mind, even if you are a greenie, no one in their right mind that cares about society, cares about our country, cares about human lives. Nobody goes after all of the oil, all of the gas, and then shuts down operating coal-fired plants to replace it with wind and solar. You will have brownouts and blackouts. People will die. People will die because of this. And when you see your own government doing it to you, and without your permission, we didn't have a big debate on this. In fact, what little debate we had was in the Build Back Better bill and the Green New Deal. And because we did have a little bit of debate on that, and there was some sunshine on that, we all said no. And they knew they couldn't pass it, so they had to hide it in the Inflation Reduction Act. That's where this came from. This is Green New Deal and Build Back Better, and just relabeled the Inflation Reduction Act. If these people will do this to their own country and their own people, do you really have a hard time, Stu, thinking that these people would sabotage the European and Russian pipeline for gas? I mean,
no, right? I mean, they're doing it as part of public policy to their own people. Why would they care about another country? Now, we don't know for sure.
No, we don't. We don't. We have no idea who did it. There's some credible evidence that we did it. And then the New York Times is coming out saying it was a pro-Ukrainian group that did it. Well,
no one is saying what they said initially, by the way, which was the Russians did it.
Yeah, nobody's saying that.
Which, of course, didn't make sense at the beginning.
Right. So it's some shady group or the United States. That's really what it's down to. And I wouldn't doubt if the United States trained or supported, or some of the money that we just sent over there just kind of disappeared and ended up in the pockets of some oligarch who funded it so we didn't have to directly fund it. Mm-hmm. But the people that are running the world right now don't have a problem with people dying. They don't have a problem. If they can get their stuff pass through, they have such a utopian view that it's going to be great for all mankind someday, and they don't mind if people die along the way.
Bigger fish to fry, right?
Got to crack a few eggs.
It really does seem like that's part of the goal, I mean, or at least an acceptable speed bump on the way to the goal.
Sure. Let me play a couple of things. This is from the podcast that airs beginning today on Blaze TV and will come out Saturday. Let me play the one on, where is it? The energy, cut 17. Here is DeSantis on energy destruction, what we're talking about.
How stupid can you be to try to neuter our own ability to produce our own reliable energy?
But they're doing it.
No, I know. But I mean, the question is how does that make our country stronger to be relying on? And here's the thing. Biden will not want it done here. He'll go beg Maduro for oil. He'll go beg other people for oil. Everything we produce in terms of fossil fuels is it's done so much cleaner here than it is in these other countries. Are you kidding me? So it's all for them to exert more control over us. That's what all this is about. And, the good thing about it is that, some of this stuff can be, I think, can be remedied through changing some of the bureaucratic rules, because there's a lot of people that out there in these industries that really want to get going again, but they just can't under the current circumstances.
Texas is thinking about making it their own bank just for energy.
Yeah. And Florida, look, I have private investor-owned utilities. So, like, they have investors so they have to make money, and I have some that are doing more solar. We don't have subsidies or anything like that. They're doing it, and it's economical in certain situations.
I have solar on my house.
Yeah, fine,
like, it's fine.
But here's the thing:
don't force me to do it.
When I had Hurricane Ian come through, we had millions of people knocked out of power. We had 52,000 linemen get it restored, largest restoration, fastest in history. I needed oil and gas. I just wasn't. The wind and the solar were not going to get those people going again.
Yes.
You had to have it. We actually had some people who had the electric cars, and some of them were catching on fire because of the salt water and all that stuff. But if you can't charge it, then you're having that tank of gas in your truck or your car can mean everything. So we are not going to be without fossil fuels in our lifetime. And if we try to go without fossil fuels in our lifetime, you are going to see the standard of living plummet. You're going to see our security plummet, and it's going to be a disaster.
We will be Venezuela. Let me play one more thing, because what I said a minute ago, that they don't have a problem with people dying, is a pretty horrible charge to make on somebody. But listen to what he talked about when he said, I was talking to, stop please, when we were talking about Dr. Birx. Remember Dr. Birx, COVID? Listen to what he says, cut 13.
You talk about this in the book with Birx, and it's a little terrifying when she said, well, this is kind of just our little science experiment.
Very much so.
Can you tell that story?
So the White House task force was hammering me for the first 3 months, because they wanted me to be clamping down harder. And she, so I called. I was like, Deborah, just tell me, when in American history modern has this been done, and what were the results? Because I kind of feel like, we're flying blind here, and we may be doing things that are going to be damaging. And she said, she's like, it's kind of our own science experiment that we're doing in real time. And that didn't sit well with me. No. I mean, you're a citizen of a republic. You're not a guinea pig. And so I think that there's a whole bunch of other things I talk about in the book. You remember the George Floyd riots the epidemiologists, because people were saying, you've been telling people you have to stay in your home. And in Florida, they were killing us, because even in those early days, when we were following federal guidelines loosely, but we were following some, we were playing golf. I mean, the villages, they're setting record for golf. People are boating, all this stuff. They were so mad at Florida for doing that. People on the beach, all this stuff. That was their position. You are killing people if you leave your house. So then all these people are, thousands of people are protesting. 2,000 of these epidemiologists write a letter saying, we do not condemn these protests because of COVID. Indeed, we think they're vital for public health because they're fighting racism.
It's a bigger disease than COVID.
And so that's when I knew. This public health a clan of people, they are sick. I mean, they are ideologically captured, and these are not people that should be anywhere near the levers of power. So I basically, from that point on, I would exclusively listen to a very handful of people. You know, Bhattacharya from Stanford, Martin Kaldor from Harvard, Scott Atlas, Sunetra Gupta from Oxford, and then my Surgeon General, Joe Latipo, we brought in from UCLA. Yeah. Great.